Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I am covering the Robert Card, Lewiston, Maine mass shooting case. Let's talk about Robert Card, the mass shooter. 40 years old. Went into 2 locations in Lewiston, Maine. A bar and grill and a bowling alley. Murdered multiple people. 18. Numerous people injured. I am in front of Miracle Ear in Auburn, Maine, which is right across the river from Lewiston. Robert Card had a hearing issue. Did he get hearing aids from this location or another location around Lewiston? I want to read a report, and I asked this because according to his sister-in-law, he had hearing issues, and it could be possible that he targeted some of the victims who were deaf, by the way. It's a wild case. It's still unknown. We do not know the motive with this case, but I want to share a report by the Daily Beast in reference to Mr. Card's hearing issues. He had hearing issues, right? And this report by the Daily Beast says, family reveals suspected gunman's link to Maine massacre sites. He just has to reach out and do the right thing, Robert Card's sister-in-law told the Daily Beast. The family of Robert Card, who is suspected of killing 18 people in 2 mass shootings in Maine Wednesday night, say the Army reservist had previously claimed he was hearing voices at the 2 locations he allegedly attacked. In the aftermath of the carnage, Katie Card, who is married to Card's brother, told the Daily Beast the brother-in-law has been hearing voices and urged him to surrender to authorities if he was still out there. Now, this was at the time before he was caught. Card ultimately took his life at a recycling plant where he used to work, a recycling center in Lisbon Falls, which is about 20 minutes to the south of here. She said that Robert Card recently began wearing powerful hearing aids to combat hearing loss, right? Since then, Card said her brother-in-law has been insisting to his family that he could hear people bashing him, including at Just-in-Time Recreation Bowling Alley and the Shenanigans Bar and Grill, where he's accused of gunning down 18 people. He truly believed he was hearing people say things. This all just happened within the last few months. It's very interesting. The bloody rampage began around 6 p.m. Wednesday at the Just-in-Time Recreation, just in time. Another shooting was reported about 4 miles away at the Shenanigans Bar and Grill. Police at the time, they didn't say what the motive was other than Mr. Card suffered from mental illness. His sister-in-law is saying that he would just get mad when they told him his voices were just in his head. And he's talking about when he went to get mental health treatment because he had mental health issues and he got treatment before in the past. His mental health issues resulted in weeks-long stay at a facility over the summer. Things have gone downhill recently. Downhill for him. We tried to listen to him and tell him that nobody was talking about him. Yesterday, as the story was unfolding, we prayed that Rob had nothing to do with this. They call him Rob. But when we heard the 2 places where the shooting happened, my husband rushed home. Katie Card, who is currently with the rest of the family as they wait for the news, added that she has been texting her brother-in-law since the shooting happened. The family members reported that they were contacting him saying, do the right thing to yourself, turn yourself in, while they were looking for him because it took them authorities days to find him. Several media outlets shared a law enforcement bulletin that circulated Wednesday night describing Card as a trained firearms instructor at the Army Reserve who had recent reported mental health issues. So let's talk about his hearing issues because 4 of the victims they were deaf. They were deaf. 4 of the victims, 4 of the 18 victims were deaf. I'm going to share some information about that. Okay, so I'm going to read an article about the 4 deaf victims. 18 died. 4 of them were deaf. 4 deaf friends were killed during the Maine mass shootings. Multiple members of a deaf community were playing in a cornhole tournament at Schemengee's Bar and Grill on Wednesday when gunfire broke out. And here's a picture of 3 of them. Billy Brackett, Joshua Seal, Stephen Vozella. On Wednesday night, multiple friends, including members of the deaf community, gathered at Schemengee's Bar and Grill in Lewiston, Maine, to play cornhole. Around 7 p.m., a gunman stormed in a restaurant and opened fire on innocent people for a second time that evening, killing 7, including 1 person outside. 7 other people were killed at the Just-in-Time Recreation Center, the bowling alley prior that we just talked about that. So let's talk about what's going on with these deaf individuals. 4 of the people killed at Schemengee's, Joshua Seal, Billy Brackett, Steve Vozella, and Brian McFarland, were deaf. According to the Maine Educational Center for Deaf and Hearing and Hard of Hearing, MECDHH. And their untimely deaths have left the local deaf community reeling. We lost 4 of our cherished community members in last night's Lewiston shootings, including 2 fathers of children in our program. Some of our staff were very close to these members of the community. The friends were playing cornhole at the time they were killed. Some of them were really passionate about their competition, but really it was just an opportunity for deaf folks to hang out together apart from the hearing world. So that's interesting, because was this a motive? Because there's some videos out there of Mr. Card playing cornhole. Did he know these guys? Did he target them because they were deaf? Hearing some speculation out there that Card would complain that some of the deaf people at the cornhole he thought were making fun of him. It was in his head a little bit. That's interesting. That's an interesting angle. Now, authorities didn't talk about that at the press conferences. They just, like I said mental health issues. But is there a deaf element to this tragedy? Is that the reason why he decided to do what he did? Because he felt that people were talking about him or making fun of him, or he thought they were, he couldn't hear properly, and he thought other deaf people were saying stuff to him, or he had something against deaf people. It's very, very interesting. Hopefully more information can come out about this tragedy and motive. Motive is very interesting. Now, I'm not going to go the conspiracy route, because some people are claiming that since Mr. Card had a hearing aid that possibly was like voice to skull or MK Ultra. Do you believe in any of that? Like his mind was programmed, he was in the military, and it forced him to go that route. There's conspiracy theorists that do that. I don't tend to believe that. I think it was a combination of mental health issues and maybe some other issues, but the deaf route is definitely a possibility as far as him being deaf and shooting at deaf victims. Subscribe to my channel. We're going to get to the bottom of this, though. We're going to get to the bottom of this. If you're suffering from mental illness out there, you can get help and treatment. And please do. Don't be like Robert Card. What he did, horrible to this community, this peaceful community, Lewiston, Maine, and all the surrounding communities. Bowden, where he's from, and Lisbon Falls. These communities were shocked. This doesn't happen around here. It's safe. Why did it happen? I am JLR Investigate. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the deaf angle. We will talk soon. And check out my playlist on this tragedy. Boots on the ground, covering this case all over. Been all over to all the sites, all the locations, routes, everything like that. So check that out. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.